Eye n'Ensoko TV oboroso bw'umugusi omurubuli kubwatya nabo kurigirirwa na kiro muntu Mogere bwa Ensoko TV nemambiende engia yeri tukerigari 15 na kabere mutinyo gatano arimo mwaka bwe chilufu ibere 25 arimo no kugera kwa aribuna kwa bokere bya kwendere bya andonsi ya sora ase mambia ya bono ase emirimo yago ase obokoreri nabo igo ase kereke mukiri gendere tokore mambia bono nabo igo no gendere tukubwatya merubiri yonsi ya Ensoko kurwa chinsa 12 cheke mambigo ikerebonge nandi chiaragire inye chia bono mambia kiyogo chaka murubiri yega bwe Etorobini go chakira bono wika chinsa isano ne mochia bono mubaso asogo cheko ligire na kumurikira yagendera temambia bona ya etire naboigo ayarache kubwatia kurwa asense media yechi semi obuncheria asamangana bwatkere no bachinu bwagachnyana no bwechpara ayarasi county na serikali NNQ jumla na ayagendera tisco yense ya Kenya yonsi na ase umurubiro yega emambia bona seri tukerigalia Jumatano tusanga sopo amu wetera senchira yo mutanda bwekerera asense media YouTube Ensoko TV namba ya mawasiliano na monekero tuchigoswa ase enkwana ya itemambia ya bono na barito chigosangamo na barwe namba ndigere noti isano na ibere isano na isato isano na isato isano nemo isano nemo isano nemo isano nemo isano nemo isato omweri tuchake gusangase obwamo eriane Ishmael Mogere Asomo chakarema ambia ya bono ebunge ya senator gose aba senator nigo banyoriri baga gukwanira aliagendere tase chi county na monongo ase budget yo mwaka bwe chilufu ibere 25 ari 25 na kabere abu ase chi county kira chikwenyorera chibe ya sekerengo kiakere chi billion chi 125 na isato abu ase bono kobori kwarore guchiase aba governor kwene kibuna ebense yengo tumekwera asenchira erengi yakoreta mu nchirire na boye wekerania magendero ribaga ryo koirwa guchiase ensemeria yobo kurume erikwene kiana amayango korekana ari guchiase omwana inchibune bwenderete gose obokoreri bore oborungi bura bakwerera asubwagareto guchaka no mo senator bwe county ya Nyamira Okongo Mogeni.
The motion that is on the floor that wants to ensure that we continue supporting our counties with adequate resources, Mr. Speaker, so that they continue providing services to the people whom we represent and whom we have been tasked to fight for as senators. Mr. Speaker, first, it has become a ritual, Mr. Speaker, that every budget-making cycle, we make a proposal to increase resources to our counties, but the National Assembly has remained a big stumbling block, Mr. Speaker, in terms of not supporting the effort that senators are making in ensuring that we increase the supply of resources to our counties. Mr. Speaker, I hope that we shall revisit. Mr. Speaker, we made a proposal in Naivasha when we went for our induction, and we agreed that as senators, we need to close ranks and support a constitutional amendment, Mr. Speaker, that was meant to give the Senate of the Republic of Kenya, Mr. Speaker, a say in budget-making process. Mr. Speaker, till and unless, as senators, we rally together and support that amendment, Mr. Speaker, we will always play second fiddle to the National Assembly. Mr. Speaker, there is no Senate I've come across anywhere in the world that doesn't have even an opportunity to deliberate on the national budget, Mr. Speaker. Even the House of Lords in UK, that is not elected, Mr. Speaker. The House of Lords does not even elect their own speaker. Their speaker is elected by the House of Commons. But after the budget, Mr. Speaker, the budget is presented before the House of Lords and they deliberate on it. How come, Mr. Speaker, that the only thing as we discuss as Senate is budget policy statement? How can you discuss budget policy statement but you don't discuss budget, Mr. Speaker? We need to do something as senators to ensure that we we find a way of bringing that budget here so that we also discuss the budget of the Republic of Kenya as senator. Mr. Speaker, you are elected by the people of Meru. You received more votes than any of the MPs from Meru County, Mr. Speaker. How come that you don't have any say on how resources are shared in this country, Mr. Speaker? We must revisit this issue, Mr. Speaker. It cannot be, Mr. Speaker.
And Speaker, it breaks my heart because, you know, the initial calculation, the initial bill, I was looking at the old bill because you had not furnished us with a new one, Honorable Chair. The total amount that was to come to Nairobi was 235B if we had gone with the old allocation of Revenue Act. And now I've seen that it is 22.1B. I want the senator from Mandera to know that that's a controversial issue for me because, Honorable Speaker, that is a deficit of 1.4 billion shillings that would have come to Nairobi and to help the people of Nairobi here. So whereas we support, please understand our pain sometimes, and we have to say something that we are pained on behalf of the people that we represent. But I support, Honorable Speaker. Thank you.
Senator Chiranke.
Mr. Speaker, I agree, and as I make a few comments on this bill, the county allocation of revenue bill, Mr. Speaker, it is unfortunate that we are yet to see the report of the committee. I'm told, and I don't know, I was told there is supply of this gadget in the room. We should be told who that is so that we don't need to delay, Speaker. We get the report. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, sir, this is a very important bill. And the issue that money has been allocated, I'm happy Nandi is going to get 8.5 billion in terms of equitable share. This is an increment from last year, financial year. This, I hope, will work for the benefit of the people of Nandi, for provision of health services, roads, and many others, Mr. Speaker, sir. I'm happy that we have increased, as the mover of the motion, the chairperson, Senator Ali Roberts, said that we have moved 15 billion. That comes to 428 billion. This 8.5, and I want to agree with the Senator of Mogere that now the work is on oversight as the Senate. But Mr. Speaker, while Nandi is getting 8.5 billion, our only worry, Speaker, is we are certified morticians because we only come after, and I think Kenyans should understand this, Mr. Speaker, sir. The fact that after voting for the division of revenue bill, and yesterday the president ascended to it, of 428 billion, is we'll only interact with the report only after the OAG as Particle 2.
Mr. Speaker, one thing I want to really emphasize is that 12 counties, including my own county, were given preferential treatment through the affirmative action component of the new formula. And they are supposed to share 4.46 billion for the next 5 years. Now, if you look at this bill, that translates to around 371 million shillings for each of the 12 counties. Mr. Speaker, I think something needs to be done, either through this bill or maybe through oversight mechanism by the Finance Committee to ensure that this money is ring-fenced for development only. Mr. Speaker, the reason why we gave this affirmative action to the 12 counties was so that they can do some development. We did not increase this money so that they can spend this money on recurrent expenditure. I am concerned because most of the 12 counties, Mr. Speaker, are utilizing this money for recurrent expenditure. Some are even using this money to pay pending bills. That was not the objective of the affirmative action. So I want to ask the Finance Committee to maybe conduct an oversight activity around the utilization of affirmative action allocation, because it is not serving the purpose to which this House passed the money. The purpose was so that that money is ring-fenced for development. And I'm saying this because even in my own county, these 371 million shillings is not used for development, is used for recurrent expenditure, and that's not the purpose to which these funds were ring-fenced for the 12 counties.
Mr. Speaker, I was just looking through the pending bills, and I've noted that my own county has got pending bills amounting to almost 6 billion. So the question is, we are here fighting so hard to send money to the counties, but we are accumulating more and more and more pending bills. If, Mr. Speaker, we don't become creative as a House, both the Senate and the National Assembly, we will continue to encourage this fiscal indiscipline in our counties. Mr. Speaker, the total amount of pending bills which is owed by all the counties cumulatively is about 183 billion shillings. If you look at the figure which is owned by the national government, which is around 458 billion shillings, the first question that comes to mind, which we have to resolve as a very serious arithmetic question, is how do we instill fiscal discipline, promote fiduciary responsibilities in these counties so that we end this issue of trade payables or pending bills. Mr. Speaker, I get tired. Every time we come here, we pass legislation. We pass motions. And when we pass those motions, implementing them becomes a heavy task, like you deciding that you're going to go naked and climb Mount Kilimanjaro. It's not going to happen. You know, you'll probably die before you get to the top. So, Mr. Speaker, I have been thinking seriously about how do we solve this problem. And I wish the chair of Budget Committee was here. Because it boils down just looking at the Constitution. Mr. Speaker, if you look at the Constitution, from Article 212 to 214, on the issues of public debt, the only way that we can instill fiscal discipline in these counties and also the national government is first when we ourselves realize that the money that is owed by the counties, it is not those counties that owe them, it is taxpayers. Because you will have to get money from taxpayers to allocate that money to counties, and then they pay. So this is an issue of public debt. So pending bills in county government is public debt. It makes difficult for small business enterprises to be able to operate. So the most logical thing that we can do, Mr. Speaker, I'm happy that my sister, the Vice Chair of the Budget Committee is here, is to look at the PFM Act. The first question that comes to mind, which we have to resolve as a very serious arithmetic question, is how do we instill fiscal discipline to allocate that money to counties and then they pay. So this is an issue of public debt. So pending bills in county government is public debt. It makes difficult for small business.
Na yagendra tase bungeria ya Senate emase ya moni gotoka repaka se county ya Mombasa abwa somo konyi bumura iwense Professor Kithure Kindiki amo nabra ibande bagendrete ko useyagendrete kura ege ikaro kyugo kwanira amangana bwatikene na uchumi yebinto byaroche ase county ya Mombasa wizara erense yomo waziri umanyikuna nere Ali Hassan Joho emambia yabona yamase mo ikase ensemeyo elitoligena naralia agendrete kura ase county ya Mombasa ase ikaro kyugo kwanira ayabwatikene na uchumi yebinto byaroche aso mwaka bw'echilifu 2025 narimo.
Last one, for Lamu, we have been in discussions with some of the shipbuilding companies, and we want to say that our deep sea port in Lamu is a huge opportunity waiting to be explored. It is deep enough for all the big ship builders that want to come, noting that across Africa we have not been able to exploit that part. And I believe that part of those of you who are here, the companies that are here to look for opportunities, the shipping lines and everybody, this will be an opportunity for us to come together. Once again, I want to say my big thank you and welcome you to Kenya and Mombasa. Thank you.
Welcome you all to Kenya and to the historic coastal city of Mombasa for the 11th Our Ocean Conference. We are deeply privileged to convene this global ocean community at such defining moment for our planet and our shared future. I extend our sincere appreciation to all our delegates, partners, institutions, and stakeholders who have joined us for this important global gathering. Ladies and gentlemen, we meet under the timely and powerful theme, our ocean, our heritage, our future. This theme reminds us that the ocean is not only a shared natural resource, but also a shared responsibility. Having been born and raised along Kenya's coastline, I have personally witnessed the profound connection between coastal communities and the ocean. For generations, the Indian Ocean has shaped our identity, sustained livelihoods, facilitated trade, inspired culture, and created opportunities for millions of people across our region. Unfortunately, today, the ocean faces unprecedented pressure from climate change, marine pollution, biodiversity loss, habitat degradation, unsustainable exploitation of marine resources, and illegal, unreported, unregulated fishing. These, however, pose critical opportunities for us to address immediate economic, social, and security aspects affecting livelihoods, food security, resilience, and sustainable development. Distinguished guests, cognizant of the above, the government of Kenya is undertaking deliberate measures to unlock the immense potential in our marine and aquatic resources while safeguarding them from future generations, through sustainable and science-based management approaches. Under the leadership of His Excellency President William Samoei Ruto, Kenya has prioritized the blue economy as a key driver within its bottom-up economic transformation agenda. Ladies and gentlemen, as we gather here in Mombasa, over the coming days, let this conference serve not only as a platform for dialogue, but also as a catalyst for measurable action and meaningful partnerships. The world expects bold leadership, practical solutions, and credible commitments that can accelerate the ocean action. I therefore wish to make a clarion call to all of us to accelerate implementation of the existing ocean commitments, establish a global blue economy investment facility for developing countries, blended finance mechanisms, increase investment and climate finance for ocean-based adaptation projects, accelerate implementation of the High Seas Biodiversity Agreement, strengthen regional fisheries management and action against IUU fishing. Additionally, we need to create an enabling investment environment for launching the Blue Bond and other resource mobilization strategies for the ocean investment. Kenya stands ready to work with all partners in advancing shared vision for healthy oceans, resilient communities, and sustainable prosperity. History will judge us not by the promise we make today, but by the actions we take to secure the future of our oceans. I wish to express my sincere gratitude to all development partners, sponsors, organizers, technical teams, stakeholders, and volunteers whose dedication and commitment have made this conference possible. I extend my special appreciation to the people of Mombasa, whose governor spoke from the heart. Later on, we will want to find a cardiologist to look at that heart. And we will leave to the commitment. But thank you, Governor, for hosting us. Yesterday, you took some of the delegates to some dance, even though you got them to dance, but you never danced. And that's why we'll find a cardiologist to look at your heart. I extend special appreciation to the people of Mombasa for their warm hospitality and continued stewardship of of Kenya's coastal heritage. And once again, I warmly welcome you to Kenya and to Mombasa and wish you fruitful deliberations during this conference. Your Excellencies, they said, so there's a famous saying, it goes in Kiswahili, kuingia Mombasa ni harusi, kutoka Mombasa ni matanga. And because, Your Excellency, you are a professor of law and a master in the British language, you will translate that for us when you come. Because it's very difficult for me to happily translate a funeral situation, so you will do it better than all of us. Allow me now to request that we be upstanding as we welcome His Excellency Professor Kithure Kindiki to make some remarks. Karibu.
Wow, we are too many. We are very many, and this is great. That shows how important what we discuss here this morning is. Excellencies, heads of delegations, Secretary Kerry, the founder of our Ocean Conference, and all the senior leaders from governments, private sector, civil society, ladies and gentlemen, colleagues and friends. This morning I stand here on behalf of the President and our hosts, for those who are coming from outside this country. President William Ruto would have wanted to be here in person for this session, but he is unable to do so because of scheduling constraints, but will be joining us before we leave this conference. So perhaps as we go towards closure tomorrow, he will be here physically, not just to interact with us, but also to be able to restate the commitment of this country and indeed the global community to the subject matter that brings us here today. And so, because I have explained in what capacity I stand here, I'll be very limited and careful in the things I say. But allow me to just reaffirm what colleagues who have spoken here have said, how important the oceans are to the survival of our planet. And I think we all appreciate that science tells us that the survival of our planet and the survival of humanity has a very close and permanent relationship with the health of our oceans. And therefore, for me, our gathering here is also an opportunity for us to reflect on the pressure that exists and that continues to be exerted on the oceans. And pressure that is human-made. And if it is human-made pressure, it means it can be managed, can be controlled, and the human activity that has exerted environmental pressure on our oceans can be addressed for the reversal of some of the effects that are undermining the health of our oceans. And therefore, we must appreciate how unsustainable the situation as it is today is, and work towards implementation of a sustainability program. And as just been said by Secretary John Kerry and other speakers, moving to action and impact. Kenya has been associated with the global debates on the oceans for quite a bit of time. 50 years ago, Kenya took a very, very active role in the debates and the conversations that eventually culminated in the adoption of the UN Convention on the Law of the Sea in 1982 in the Montego Bay Conference. And that legal framework has helped to some extent to mitigate against anthropogenic pressures on the ocean, with commitments around pollution and also the management of the common spaces of the ocean, the common heritage of mankind and spaces that are beyond the national jurisdiction of any state. Excellencies, therefore, Kenya continues to participate as a member of the global community in these discussions. Fast forward in 2018, together with Japan and Canada, we hosted the Conference on Sustainable Blue Economy in Nairobi, co-hosted. In 2022, together with Portugal, we co-hosted in Lisbon the second UN Conference on the Oceans. And therefore, we are happy to be part of this ongoing conversation. And I must say, therefore, the creation of a special ministry responsible for the blue economy and maritime affairs is not an accident, it's not an afterthought, but is a continuation of a long journey that this country has traveled in terms of focusing our attention as we look towards contributing to a healthier and safer environment and the oceans. I must commend as Secretary Kerry, the founder of this initiative that brings us here today, and I hope this edition will meet to the standards of the dreams and aspirations of the founders of this initiative and will build on the successes of previous conferences to strengthen cooperation and accelerate implementation, to create synergy, and also to make sure that we promote policy coherence, boost scalability of action, and secure the positive impact that we look for. It has been said that we need to take care of our marine biodiversity and also manage the effects of climate change and protect sensitive marine ecosystems. And I don't think it is my space to speak about that, because I know there are enough scientists and enough professionals in this field who can state this matter a little clearer. Allow me to say that in terms of situating what our obligation as this generation is on this subject matter, it has been said that we do not inherit the earth from our ancestors. Instead, we borrow it from our children. What this means, friends, is that we have an obligation as the current generation to return the ocean to our children cleaner, richer, and more resilient than we found it. That is how profound our obligation is. And ladies and gentlemen, I started by situating the context, which was that President Ruto would have wanted to physically open this conference because of its importance and its place, not just for Kenya, for this region, but also for the world. But again, it was not possible. Therefore, President Ruto, as a message for this session, even as we wait for him to come and join us physically before the end of this conference. Allow me, therefore, ladies and gentlemen, to leave it there for now and then request that we listen for 5 minutes the message of His Excellency President William Samoei Ruto, President of the Republic of Kenya, on occasion of this official opening of the 11th Oceans Conference and the high-level session that will be following immediately after this. Wapi makofi ya rais? Oh, sorry, I spoke in Swahili. I just said, Excellencies, let us listen to His Excellency the President. Thank you very much. I was not trying to interpret the Minister Joho's proverb, and you cannot delegate upwards, Minister. So if you have to delegate your responsibility, it has to be maybe to the next person. Am I right? Please. Where is the video?
Excellencies, distinguished delegates, investors, partners, and friends of the ocean. Hamjambo. Karibuni Kenya. Karibuni Mombasa. It is my honor to welcome you to the 11th Our Oceans Conference, the first ever held on African soil. Our theme is simple yet profound. Our ocean, our heritage, our future. For Kenya, the ocean is not a distant blue line on a map. It is who we are. Picture the shores of Mombasa before dawn. A fisherman pushes his boat into the tide. A trader traces routes her grandfather once sailed. A business owner inland depends on goods arriving through the port of Mombasa. A taxi driver hundreds of kilometers away relies on fuel that lands there. Different lives, different journeys, all connected by the ocean. Their stories remind us of a simple truth. The ocean is not only the livelihood of those who live beside it, it shapes the lives of millions who may never see it. Every container lifted at the port of Mombasa supports livelihoods in Nairobi, Kisumu, Kampala, Kigali, and beyond. as the gateway to landlocked nations across East and Central Africa. It connects millions of people to trade, opportunity, and growth. Our ocean powers industries, feeds families, protects our shores, and helps safeguard the planet. This is our shared inheritance. Yet today, that inheritance is under strain from warming seas, plastic pollution, illegal fishing, and the silent disappearance of life beneath the waves. Kenya is already at work. We are restoring mangroves, cleaning our waters, reforming fisheries, and strengthening ocean governance. We are opening the door to blue finance, science and innovation, so that conservation creates opportunity. To our partners, I have 3 requests. First, help us protect 30% of the ocean by 2030 with the financing, technology, and enforcement that meaningful protection demands. Second, invest in us. Bring capital that builds industries, dignifies work, and restores the ecosystems on which prosperity depends. Third, stand with us against illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing, the theft that robs coastal communities, undermines legitimate enterprise, and threatens maritime security. We must also be honest about financing. The ocean cannot be protected on promises alone. Africa cannot be asked to shoulder the greatest burden of protecting what sustains the entire world. There is no better place for this gathering than Mombasa, a city that has connected peoples, cultures, and commerce across the Indian Ocean for more than 1,000 years. So let this conference inspire more than dialogue. Let it deliver new partnerships, new investment, real protection, and measurable action. When future generations ask what we did at this moment, let us be able to say we chose action over delay, partnership over division, and stewardship over neglect. The measure of our success will not be in what we say this week. It will be what we build together after we leave. Let us seize this moment. Asante sana. Karibu Kenya. Karibu Mombasa.
With the President having sent us his message, it is now my singular honor on his behalf once more to welcome all of you who have come from outside Kenya and to declare the 11th Ocean Conference officially open. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency.
Karibu na mambia bano mwanchumo rigeria aina yagenderete kurwase county ya Mombasa abwase omokonyi mumuraibwense Professor Kithure Kindiki agenderete kura igikaro egikarikyo gukwanira amangana bwatikene na uchumi yebintu byaruche igo ayonsi pino kwanira nyere wazari nigerinse yomo waziri Al Hassan Joho nere okura ewizari yo emambia ya osenere okura ewizari yo ase engaki engabune yeiga na abuno tukuchakire mambia ya bono engaki engakinkwari kanya bagene baiteme studio mambia bono kurwa bagukwani bagosogeria sobwango mono alafu ntoswe asenkwane temambia ya bono astra chikora chakira asobwango mono kuligerina inegwe ikira boni ga asetwe ikeire asengenje twarorire ewizara eyega ya mining na mangana bwatikaine na maritime affairs yani kuya madini amo n'ibintu byaro chamno tugucho chakire mambia bono torole na how far winga itwe ikeire na boyigo faida kiya berororo kurutwa gachagete ikira boni winyorumo waziri Al Hassan Joho kera sweto bisi engaki eyemo aswate nekirunde kenene sana ogotebana ebinte bigatogotana na madini ense ya Kenya nibwatobotene nkubori wa madini kurenda madini yaega taraba kago konyo mo Kenya tukarora alinde kago so asi company gete igo so chiobisi okorusia abantu orora abandi bago chinchu abandi bago seligwa contractors buna obokurumi bori bogo chibwa kwa kana bokora mbori bogenderete ebintu binga buna ebiga turachakira sesemo yago Brian Mbaki emambie yabono kukwani mwanchumo lieli kurwabwo oswe cha senkwani irioka
mbiamono Ishmael umwanchumo tegereri no murigereri otorigeti emambia rero eseria tankoro kumprano Mbaki igendo mo Kenya omugusi okisi county Kisi county gondo munyariwari ochache
yebono
nyariwari chacha ari nkoru Kisi central
ali asichianda otichibuchete
ebe sane bichete into watu denengo
wensi
Kisi central nkire masongo so aminyi kwa kegeme etorompako bobasi na bochari magana na manga ndete Kenya ito ayama yabo na whatever to wate summit ndete Kenya but above all obogi mawika bogendre aneno morigereria no mutegereri tochi okwandra mangana mange igoro yobogi ma eswato ikiribu na Kenya boniga na state of the nation na kiense itera at the moment and boy going to chikorigereria who will save us mora tokonye una Kenya ekiara estoikire apart from Nyasaye ntugani tumwanya bantu nere oyo ratokonye
oyo gotume kubuneke bekerero
buneke bekero bana
samia sensemo yao
mwanjomo murigereria na ndeto yonko kwani sema mbia rero ande wakara Nyasaye mbe mananga utuigureire litukuria rero nga twanyare kanire nga na intu twanyorire gusera bwiri tukiria soko twarobo moyo nje mumanyi nkorogo na nde Samuel rinde musioma ego ngoro ase county ya Nyamira kitu tunara ya Masaba digo me ward mungoni ne village wanagaru mundaigira mungoni abo ninka so nje insoya ase ngana kwa boli asamangana ya madini Kenya ito utambe unangora gutieka watabanga Kenya we are a big joke summit ina wanyaranga tutumie the millions of money
kwarega nige kare kigyoka
kwarega nige kare kigyoka lakini the value wa Kenya bako nyora furua se summit is actually absolutely 0.1%. Reason ni linga ngwa tabanga Al Hassan Joho achete kuminyoka chiobisi Al Hassan Joho ngotamu manite gose abante serikali ngotanyi manite kose serikali yako choro kulingana na abantu president yako choro kulingana na abantu bali amanyete nga they are like minded people. If the president is corrupt, just know that no nyine system ya abantu ba completely down is completely rotten ire corrupt Joho ga minyoka lakini madini no nyina no maitenga ki amadini gose mineral ki amadini na rito bwata Kenya you don't know a reason ringa ki the interest Joho ga minyoka go kave interest ya na with clicks 1 2 3 people bali ba kodi no yani no rigelinga kwara Joho ga minyoka guchigusi soapstone yeto mat Ritabaka na komora kako ando. Cause that what interest chair there elsewhere. As a minister, even the unions been aware that ko be kwamo pamoja na into ngo aliye summit ngo representative nini yeto kurumata. There's none. So and what having an interest. These politicians, that's why I got in most cases it what them omochanda zengenjo to what politicians than leaders in our system. And in area even the we go bangambosa in a Toros Chisami, Miambiri, Miatatu, even if Toros on 10 a day, they will not change a thing in our country. Yeah.
And on the same issue, Mogere Ishmael, kuna bone summit endete Mombasa. Kwera nerio mitombi mono akwane ireruka liga na tobwate gusi liekware. These summits nchirigo chicha konya Kenya. For example, right now one of the blue economy and mining again rete.
Yeah, man.
So far there is nothing very disclosed on the summit. Again, to sogotegera no njo una banyi guire again to yoka eka ona motegera na iwa okwananga bya mone serikali so gutwanchira to host the summit. Abantu ba Mombasa and the entire coastal region bagokire sana. Ntobwate chi hoteli chingia ne ocean nera motararwa make sure mwatari.
Yani aso bwenga bageni ntobarigana TV.
Tobarigana TV tumotare. Morore. Bono unexpected again to benekyo. Unexpected yes opening remarks chae. Ate benga is out of this summit. A region gete bogerengo produce very gold. Usinto bwate rigena rieto.
West Pokot rugro nero ni bwate.
Mbabwate. To trumbo kamata coast yok. Andu mete lisemwalo lipo. Konya wata barenga mangana ebola bia tari ebola. Rigena ndira rimate lia platinum. Dire coastal region. Rikoyo. Ege tinkero ge kwaga chukwalari. Uya biyantura manya reason yayo kwagacho. Ande buna baote banga na singe chweri gene dire coastal region yari na kige kige kwagacho. So serikali yebuno yo minta tebire bo asiore mboyo na bwana mboyo ese bintu bigendre tesense yaito. Eba.
Na boye kera tukuliye bintu biga byonsi pi kando na mangana abwatikaine na madini. Ntubwate ayabwatikene no uchumi yebintu byaro cheboigo boigo kuligeri na no nye because aigo metino no paka chinsu boro metino chigo chiraga chinsu omena nkwaro chinga kiayemo kurwa se county cha mate bagota na abalia bago korogo tukiboria because nyonere nde nyanche kerere nyasayo yetongete lakini umeto muntu narororo ubwate responsibility ina ki ubwate kinga kia nyanche ni getachite kwae igo na bakonyora chinga ki oligyo ubwato bwaye oswa uruba chinsu lakini chisi nyone bago chirwa gocha asense moye chiro sami bado muchanda nororo monene na chinsu chirinchiranyara chigo benefit no nyeno olia ogochiruba kurwase chinsemo chiria chialwa Nyanza no nyana se kuchiensemo cha Indian Ocean rogoroga igana barabwo ase ensemo ya because bari baba pwani na barabwo kwiguale bintu mbere bigete babwate binge omena lakini nchiri omena burunge lakini rende nkoliye ubire
amano mento liswale niliya ekarukuligere likyanya ito na still na wangu na watabanga otwa yani otwa getwekeranya setani gatoralite okopoko kwaye asenye kanyora abarai batamenye tinki abakenya batayete ingingo watebeleo I want to give you to go chunks pose into berega there was a farm ya chitega I forget the name yarenke from Norway eganga yabenene yachitenga ngaki abantu bago preserve amabere takunda because chinyomba chitu nchibwa chifridge ni chifreezer bakaja ni system gete yani chi machine gete cho preserve. I think they did not see the light of day as the government was not in support. I forgotten a farm in Yareng. So, Tochipon Asoko Chinsu, Manago, Ekinari.
No, Yancy, you go to preserve because it's not normal to go to Kermel Yaka.
Oh, Zubuna Yakuno Mogaso, Rule Yakuno Mogaso. Obotiokubo egochaka kuunda kurunda so akaro ya gundi li muswego so kideli musuri yota koleki otaka nikobera angegabo omochando nurulinga egentu joho for example ko imokagari atebenga twarosiri ase Lake Victoria Mogere na ase bali babebeka inegabo twabekire chi preservation gose twarete chi machine chuku preserve omena ni chintu chiri kubwato gali asengenjo chikirega abo egereto gatete kuri market. That is the country that go create economy from our oceans and lakes. So wakini mono mochando no linga, we want to talk big. Toko kwa na goruche samiti na oda bengera saying millions of money. And millions of money. But the value we get, the value aba rubichin so bakonyora is zero. Zero, completely zero. Uzo kulige linga in on speech ye president is not just speech giokogokia tarintu giokogokia azabali bategerete baisiko lakini bali antu tomanyete
gusegwekerania ratiba na ki wikomura iwense
akwa na speech. Otherwise we get no value whatsoever kuruaze the president's speech, the minister in charge speech, kwa speech alikuru jo tarantera nanga is a minister is still giving a speech ye governor inga nchumo Mombasa mbuya mono motararu ga Mogere. That is a governor's speech. Kere governor nero linde nero kwariga ni abantu but still zinero nero kwariga ni abantu ekina bagyo korokyo mochando bwa barayi to bwa ngina gote belinga kim ekere gias kerie kanene ki gose igoroga ari kiagundire ekemo gose kwanyoriro ngomurayi oyo muri otutenerete gose ori omonene bwense na bwate questionable enini ya ene questionable. Let me tell you no na banze abarayi ba komokonya still iga konyora choreta abantu bali ba koraki ba kori gazinere bali ba kumuitabera oizo korigerie government ye kera talinga united opposition yoke okwana lakini kero mondo out of is a praise and worship song endukeli president yakwana agali igo it's over kwara agali ibintu bya ruzi kugali bono president yakwana mangana akolereki and that's how we are forgetting it no summit ya ekerenga nginata etokwanira. We have a government italiko to prioritize into muno mukulima muno omurubichinsu muntu onde bwenzi ole Kenya. We are fighting for ourselves. That is why muntu onde atebanga Kenya n'abakong abaganya nabako just Jones be when this scandal every other single day lakini momenyete mukoraga someone from South Africa kwane yende I don't know from South Africa or Nigeria
a billion ya bere gente
yani a billion to you Kenyans even a billion is something one of you billion is it a billion it's a billions of money inki asenga njo yabarayi baito bato nalire.
Okay.
Bato somere bagotonaranga ki intu bwena tia sana wabu keraba iruli baga no ne taiba ko be kayaro kaninda asengenjo ya pro trutri ya chire bosio.
Brian utara mentra sense meyo ekero keritoko genda se data ya bwango statistics nige kworokia na aso mwaka bwe chilifu ibere merongebere na inye bweka ense ya Kenya nigo yabetike we import igono koleta tokaleta chinswe ekerengo kiarenge 9,960 metric tons kurisko yense ya Kenya yebono igo libagalio we export tukakorage tukieke tuka import tukareta gocha se chiro yense ya Kenya tukareta chinsu chiarenge ekerengo kiayo se weight yarenge 9,960 metric tons ne chinsu ichi tukokwanira 2024 onumura yobono nere olengo burayi ensu tukwanira tilapia mackerel nile perch ntubwate tuna salmon nechinde. Okay toligereria na ekerokeria aso mwako yo ekereke tuarete 9,960 chinsu ekerengo kinganina kintu tuaonetie korengana nekiombe gya Kenya Fisheries Service because that yegoma yetokonya konyerusia ndonsi nekiombe kirene kiugo kirakwe gya Kenya Fisheries Service egekworokena to export 80,616.1 metric ton ige minute ne chichi asoete ekerengo kiani go kiaringe igoro wetani keria twaonetie official ne chinswe chiga chion CP approximation ni go area around 5.88 billion ine rebesa wetra se chinswe chiga kerenge kiga chionetigwe uche iskoyense ya Kenya ekerengo kia ekere 8616.1 metric tons igabone kero kiri okoligereria naso mwako 2023 naro of course to export 10,707 igo aso mwako inki arenge igora ko mwako 2023 abo ense kanyorera 6.68 billion because ya renge 10,000 lakini ka 2024 tukanyora tori 8.6 libagali uko kina lenda tabene to export tokane 12,000 metric tons tuona toka 10,000 tukaacha 8,000
Gono Ishmael. You see, iga nongo ikana naga cheruguna ba Kenya chinsa chinsa. Chinsuna Nile perch and tilapia na chimono monotire Lake Victoria. Kwa makonyora omo Kenya umiete ukuboka kutimete gose no mete process yo kubwata chinsu. Yo kwenda kurubi. Those people chinsa ba uchikorubi mbotuko.
Yewa. Barikorara.
Barikorara. Imagine obo kindu babo tuko na ndene se lake. Bearing in mind Lake Victoria ne bwate boat chimamba na hippopotamus nga kichikoro kweseke gusi. Ne bwate chionsi. Abange na bari iroka bago chioni ari. Angene ele kigari. Ose kubanyora bakuwe megano bagwetera. Noni erinda basacha bari babaretere chinsu. I think Citizen TV na korete documentary you either 2023 was 2024. Igore ya masaibu iroka abange na bari bakuwa chinsu chiri bagwetera. Buna noni abasacha bari bago chikoroba. Ekero bako baretera. Okonyora mongena tabu ati besa chugo. Ya video tebi gunga tumie kyobu aterinde tokwe chinswechi. Lakini oni obo irobo bwenyamoro bore mono se meri. Kwa konyora abantu aba bagwitire mechande mono mona aba baruroje. Na ubado bakonya goteba ngatuta. Na uboni ga bagotera nande bagutugera sana. But in return nande nakingo chinateberanga illiteracy negente kebe. Illiteracy gotaba no umanyi bwa mangana na information na kiango negente kebe bangina buna bari yose ko banyora mbameti mangana buna importation serikali yokora ose korra noni amaguri ba kugoreru the fisheries chirari endanger igoroma bay I think late mid 2025 Ruto na launch kwende ndari ya fisheries rochegari ose korigereri mbameti noni umanyi bwa market rates wechins
amanyena ligoli enswe yega ligoli lya eneli
but asengen cha cartels to bwate se asense yaito na mono cartels mbao koraka asibuna mbari okora with the government of the day abantaye bawo chiba korega asi hand in hand ekiare serikali ya mwewo kukana mangana cartels importation buneri to okora te okoreka nande korokore serikali ya okora importation manyaba bari se serikali abanyene na cartels na obe tiri na oba assigniri they have imported with a lot of taxpayers money in return mo Kenya tarikonyora kende ebintoni bingi bigo koreka ne such ministries especially ministry of agriculture but the serikali yekira se osekurigere riro ka data from late towards end ya last year to swero mwako yobuna to ganda to ikiregati a lot of importation chikokoru but serikali teriko gazette tomanye ki yabere imported imported but ebintone binge biko imported ebituma mechere name them all so that's why we are saying umwana intinero gende tamia na singing ncho gutatua rubumanyi kwanyoranga tokwenda guchandika matukonspi yeba
Sami engakia yemo bagatebana chinsunjire kyaso ire chiro kwara chire chi plastic bona
China
weka mechere yo
no chi arenga zeke kerenge kia 1000 goze
bente mechere iroke constituency singoru omujumbe buororo nanchi tukwena no mochere sana igon ko igungo mochero yunyi ikituri koi
kai
timetu sana kene kya nche nanya konyochira agina onko igunga bangine ba to igere mpaka baros
no gane riyo
Ase bari ba yo betero ebitu bako
ba to igere mpaka baros.
Okay, Salva.
You know, Ishmael, our government, unakuwa na igoro ya cartels. There's a time to work cartels. Lakini mbona mnatokuwa na the government itself is a cartel.
Exactly.
Asengenje yobo manyobo tokukwanera. Inga asengenje yogo tanyoro bo manyibo isaine ya se osebi melik osasa kagasikali gaito to kora buno burubianda ne bintu binde asengenje yogo tamanya what it entails go what the government as osingi to when the as koru as a government. That is why okonyora nonye na bantu nonye mbogere igase buna to kwana samangana ya malta asamangana yoburu bichinsu na bintu binde byaroje asengenje yogo tamanya bantu bono bamanyeti nonyene samiti ele miteri unga abantu babona samiti ya bantu tali abalimi bunantu bejaye na bintu bi na barubi be abamenyi bali hange ne chindo chiri chinene na ocean na babona to kuwa mangana lakini you finding again nonyembara boka banyene bakota tiki lack of information na buburwa irobo nene to bwate in Kenya. Oizo koliga liga igase chinswe chikatwata banga chimbotri. I was calculating ngana the difference in 2024 ya metric tons ye chinsu chimbotri ne chito do exported igere 1345 metric tons. What does that mean? Ige mean tinga yani chi orocho no nye difference kere 1345. That means inga echito imported a government chinsu to bwate original to bwate chinsu chiko metric tons yani chiria abantu babona Kenya babona ko consume 80,616 metric tons. So the only thing to what get kurusi kogeche it's not 9,960 metric tons. We only needed 1,345. Na ande bono 345 we
chiranyara ko produce ni meyense
chira bako imeyense asinge to your preservation chinzwe chigestari ko nyara ko preserved ko ruari roja zaba rubi babu atabaka chike chiro. That is the difference. It's not that we cannot produce
na bali myabayiga baba
empowered by facilities chiri babona to. This is the difference that we are talking about. We don't need to import chinzwe tochiko tabunga kichinzu charu ete China che plastic mechere karu China etana ete nobeke bitugi telikoi. So chando no linga the government teliko prioritize abalimi baitun tutuweka abanyene. They try koro asengenjo na ubako import. Ona engo import you are an entrepreneur. You don't import. Is the government imports kwa mana konyora. The reason nelinga cartels yabato kwanera they are in government. Na ubako enda ba import. Vama na inflation yani vaone chama na go flow chama na go fly market paka nono yo mogero yo orubire chinsu chiae ado wake atana korara tariko nyo the value of yegen to kilia konyo.
So market
the people who have killed this economy is the government itself. If we're not going to create the economy for us, but it has killed the economy for us just because we are not prioritized. Even to be to be cheaper, and someone is benefiting out of those importation. That is why. When I got an analysis, we don't need. In short, we don't need co-importing to Korusiko. No, mafuta kwa roja. If a government function straight na ndeko kolimint, how can mafuta go jesiko mwaka into akwanda tegende? Mafuta ko rusiko tons. Chini cha mafuta. Chigo janga the government does it. Ngana bantu babere batato bamanye. Do you believe that? You can't believe it.
Okay.
So what I'm trying to say Ngeringa, yani in short, the Kenya is sabotaging its economy. The government in place, they sabotage the economy of the same government is running.
Okay.
It's running, yeah.
Ase muyende mugano tuachakira emambia yabona sumurwe Etorobini nigo tugokwanda mangana ye county abu ase gwikira boniga county nigo chiaganetie ase budget yo mwaka 2026-2027 by webe asiarenga up to above 500 billion lakini nigo baste bakaye 428 billion na sinkwane ya buri tukulegora bange mbaringe na no mogokona account yane ya men 3 billion ibere yane ya men 3 billion yemo onyore nigo tuarenge bilo 400 billion na account ya Kisi abona togo chakira bona account ya Kisi rit kuligoro nero yaringe account yentangani imeyense ya Kenya si account yonsi pemerongena na isano na ibere nero yaringe account yentangani wetie budget aso mwaka budget ya 2026-2027 ne budget ya nigere 22 billion enere budget ya itetiwe whereby a priority enene gose ekero koligere yabese yenchire bagire ekerenge ekenene nigo kerachi kogenda gusire meroberio osomorobero bokobeka amache abuno e priority na se omwako ya gato kwa 2026-2027 tari chiparo of course paranchiro chiseminchiro obochenumboro lakini e priority enene asomo governor Paul Simbarati ase omwako yega ukobwatia ere na sensemo ya mache na abangira bakire roche mono ba butokire megongo chindo chiete chinde chikari go command of that chinde chiachekera kwaswa koba urusana imegocha gocha igo ase county ya Kisi ine ere priority ya bura bwekerekeria tukokwandira igoro ye budget yeyo engima kiujumla
bono mbia mono ndete kwera ni the national government especially the treasury ministry ngambia mono chi county chiabere this proposal has been there for quite some time chi county chimentwe chibesa na ndete ko for this one ndete wote bangambia mono ba mentru although chibesa the COG Council of Governors ya proposed the by which county the treasury didn't meet it but at least there's an increment say chibesa chabere devolved to the counties kingo kwandra Kisi specifically na ndenaro che senators nchabo at debate moswa se amaongeza ya chibesa igoro ndenaro che bago kwandra they were very specific inga chi governor chitie commissions chibesa bayiru wakiani obo kurumi andi chikonye abantu bari be counties echo abanyene the county ya Kisi jamentetu but the biggest problem osekorigere say the entire breakdown una umwako yo twachakire bone financial year ne koreru a lot of money will be going to the expenditure na paying of pending bills na bakorie meremo about
minute kerengo kelikika niriko enda samagedro nege
kemono that's what I mean omo governor with his own wisdom o amirenga tigae amache priority aso mwako yo tigaire before akore miaka ya etamu twentangani but how transparent is tendering yebitache egochikoba how transparent is water and sewages kwende ya Kisi kiwasko to konyeroka how transparent is it going to collect asebari bakwegwa mache ya serikali how transparent bawo chiko collect amache ko research meter but commenter abantu amache chimita mbamenteru chibesa chisiweje chekya no chiko fall under the water department nchichigo tichuru ekya era usugweta town ya ito squeeze
drainage
system were ndiri but more so in chegen tonde concerned na kimono ebitacho mono how transparent is the tender entire tendering system egochiko transparent ese bagochiko ese ogotangasa chitenda bidding ye chitenda chicontractor chiko chikwegu chitende chi because
naende abno aba MCA bago chirema singincho ebitache biga na rumanyete na ase word yane usenga kiogoro ingane tibitacho biri
bitacho rogeting kaneti balimba chandegete because all through tendering ye abere ke okoru enchiragete refani na andetaringa macha atanya kwe priority osikorige for the past 3 financial years the same governor ne riko nyatari kwa mache as the top priority but mache nko bare se budget ibo tambenga ande mwako yo budget ya mache we kambeke but dibitache byanya kwa gacho inche na nyakorora oyororere na bago tutebya ries comment section tonyore feedback yeyo
abanyali bali mubwati bitacho
araria
nyali bali chache
injeke nyorokia nenge bwati bitache
nonyana kama
ni private investor
MCA ona kigoro
MCA neno mugaka gitokoro kumonyenyi yoge akwiriroka nikine mai bagete ni mamba timeti ngakyari mamba usina bakungu bali abwate sita maybe no akwirokere mamba but otherwise ebune kinyorokia ne nkwande to be specific masonga abantu ba masongo na omoteba eke tapwirari ne private initiative omonta irete garanga abantu baite kinyoreke kyane bachandikire let me take some 70,000 mbeke getacho nande bitache bimbiri so expensive very cheap but okonyoreke tache kemo kebekirwe budget up to 500,000
ribagali ya 1080
ribage getacho no ni rubomsini kyare getacho ne bitacho bibere yokobe kachichuma nchiri koira 1 meter ogo bechanga chiwil baron chigo ikaisana ekogoto na magena ichire gusikirasi amagena ari ase kuri guno nya bana kenyorubuka batebunga kero montache ne rige ne rimerimo amagena ari na bagwisana batoko nyorike tacheke mogyoka kibekirwa 500,000 kwanyo na ndinki kwa gachu up to the standard kwanyo na ndinki kwa gachu standard yembe within 2-3 years na ndinki akamire ngeri gosoka match na ndawa na kenyoro ya bidi bachire kore magochikanda ari badaiva atia match wanyakonyiko rwese Ensoko una yaring but otherwise county cheito cha mentor but ubo kurumino bonge borese county and part of the dream totebe noni arairo kure devolution under 2010 act devolution nengia but ubo kurumi boitire devolution osekurgereri the richest people nowadays serikali yetu are the county executive heads abari gavana chatenenkire sana na ndichi bwata maria mange wetorobo kurumi bokorekana SHW asachigo tomugoche county magendro tokonyora tayo are very minimal muna bono no ni bosongo ya itokisi ya itense town yenene yarenge twego city timeti esboikire lakini hopefully kanto ego city
mwanyera naganyite bada era naganyite nyamira na hande na isabite na nyamira
ana yari mandara ndeka ataviro kisi county kwa 22 billion is not a problem
exactly
kubekwa se budget
is not a problem na hande simbarati ko prioritize ibitacho is not a problem a question ya nene elinga ngochi ko kole bitacho hivi
how transparent
because it was just the other day, actually yesterday, naro some section of MCA, I quote one obale koru, I think ibo basia koru it was saying nan eruma tena MCA oro isaranzete nani no muzanyo we governor isaranzete
anda kore
constituency ye governor sakuru igata ebete iga yesterday igata ebete nga Simbarati as stand to be a cleaner, as stand to be a service provider, you count everything. Akamana kubulinga ki uwefu manyite contractor. Ura nemelie contractor ko kolega askizi county ko so contract yo kolega askizi county. Ba mi tanto merelieta. What does that show you? Yeah, what evinga Kizi County is a one man show.
Exactly.
Is the one to pay, is the CEO ye county, is the contractor, nero wakana, nero kodin. In short, what I'm trying to say, oborai was Simbarati, noborai yobo tabagu buato bolema buakerengenjo. Why got the buato bolema buakerengenjo? If you see a CEO or someone in a way county or governor, Paul, oikire to an extent, chia musieja to ala teka mangano opposition ya bantu bali bara na ere bali ekero monda wo criticize with evidence yo mate to kunyara kwerusi yoro amo chando no linga Simbarati has done absolutely nothing. In Kizi County, there is nothing tangible. You will sit down, other than Simba Paula, you call it 1, 2, 3 things. And if it is successful, back to the end, be again. This is a project Simbarati has started. Back to Ikirmoin.
Every time, Biareta to next tip,
you know what? Videos, you know, no, and over. I
never like the stadium next tip. Ikomi Kaiko Karaval and Kenya.
What does it? What does that reduce? What quality? Kwa manje ro prioritize any near water asa mangana yokorosi yokurubura chinsoko na nini
less than 2 months of launching
ebira gitebin gibiya kolet the first priority nga ebintebi twale tete twagurite chipesa millions of money egasi ya ebiko chikokora ngora turi kuigura chipara ngora turi kokora that could be eyunere ekokara ngaki abangina baito abwate ngombe yao kama chipa intisano onde 10 onde 2 imbibwate channel ye para bigo ikera mabera ikera busonga abantu
by the budget yeyo kerokeria tokonyelireria over 10 million actually over 30 million chiabe kitwensemo asingencho uchokonya kubeka mafuta ebiragita ige budget yabe kitwensemo naki chimilioni chiga echigo cyo gutumye ko kubeka ebiragita tipa amafuta
mano minto that's why ngo the being again ndo bwato mechandusi and we need to wake up aba uziba minta zabale they need to wake up. You know my
thing abanya ari barimba bwati chibesa baro
abuteka bwati chibesa abwati chibesa kwanza
bwati chembaki ne tuba kyo boko
bana bakamba getyo ko what I'm trying to say bagala ndikolera asanje bagala bako machari meeting ngende bakama
abama bwati chibesa
they need to keep quiet
kuna wantombaro bachande get nabanyari bari
goza dola so what I'm trying to say Ishmael ngelinga ki oburayi bwaito kosi tuise ko isaranza buna omweshimigo barare goteba uise ko isaranza uchake kuburia inki twanyorire buna abakisi county nje Nyamira nkoro akini abakisi county inki mwanyorire from neighbor a good neighbor I can foreseeing there is nothing kisi county banyorire asengenjo yake esengenjo mochanda number 1 amasoma yobumanyi bwegento umwana omuntu ngochebere byikora nona eno otari yobumanyi bwobora lyobwate tango to isaranse tiga lakini asinge njoto bwate obumanyi administration part ye omuntu osobora ibwo omuntu na ubogara takizi county echandegete
lakini account yeyo gateba na ni bwate obokongu usa no munganyite mugache kobeka ebyasara abarayi bago bonsi ipi
no bakorara
sino bakoboka kurwa no bagokorera obunchireri kurwa igemireti igo nagenderete because igemireti ne uchumi go se economy account ya Kisii gombiyere konye kwanganyire kurwogo wachire kwarere na mwinango beki byasara mwino gaiga ahigana bubira akoribya igorende
abantu
mangana taribya
ngo debinde bono e question nane ngo kubuli
yebo
okay bono tuagajire economy ya Kisii county. What is out of that economy? Nki abakisi account banyole. Absolutely nothing.
Ebango ngosoere.
Ebango ngosoere lakini ekere gutumeka. Ayinuru cha se bange yugutumeka. Oyino rumu chando to bwate. Igonde to kubwata ni binte bibere no tora kuna Nyamira county to kubwata ni bibere iga. Ngote binga egintu ke kogereta bauti yaba. Usaba Kenya ba firinga imbabwato umuntu kubakorere gas no burai. Ekero tutabwati oburayi obuya gento nkiyo tora expect nuise kurikire kuruguru president go chance bakatoike bakaze governor toike CMCA isonli MCA babere batato bakorere gasi yabo asengenjo bamanyete nkiba gasi bakorete gasi bachorera igonga abagusiye ase babeta Kisii county na Nyamira county omochando monene tobwene tokuchaka wa address bono iga no kumanyanga mura ikitutagete bona iga I can assure you nane na tabeta iga in another show nga Simba arati na Nyalibo were not the leaders to atagete bona iga they are not completely actually that is a mistake nanya satu wabera so make a mistake you I think they are not the leaders we wanted now I think abantu tutagete na abantu you know even to be achire the world is going so fast the world is going so fast ntebi ngaki asaba saye bali bayito obongo bwobole oriented go support tailored towards amangana innovation tell me even aside Nyamira county and Kisii county ora isaranso tabangaki this is an innovation center. Yeah, bana bali ba move with the world kuna yachire. Tell me.
Tubwate ase county ya Nyamira asubwango mono. Tubwate 26 vocational educational training centers. 26 vocational
training
educational training centers. Egati yabo ntubwate bigege. Ekerubo. Kiabwoge. Amone chinde chinyinge. Nkwera tolengo chikwandera tole yatragenda ase omutimo komoke. Na kerokeria umurubiri wige mambi yabono mwancho muligere ningo kora tugocha sore ne university yatangaza ijwe ko kumanyina ne bwate mirubiri au eyo oranyare kwenyorera libaga aroro kurwa sechi program chiria cha masters alafu ntubwate se doctorate tugwata magana a diploma ntugwata sensemo yende yechi degree na bwe nkwana na bare amaigerio ase emenwa aobuna ege songo ege swahili ege french ege germany amana menwende mengebo erikwe manya mange boigo na boko ba kresimi ase tv age mambia bona buno rigere tigabwo chinamba no chiregabwo buna checho gategabwo buye na boko ere nambe ya mugo sebere erio obakire eriwe manye amange gosebwe gara boko bali kira ogubatara ase website yabo ya www.tangazauniversity.ac.ke iliwe manyamange igore university ya Tangaza asaboro tiago traswa ase omutumo ko baketo kwerana county ya Nyamira Samio kanire korende 26 echiga nchire cheche tochiko chikwanira asobwagare to busukare ne TV yago kwaigo kurase semanyari bali chachi naro bachiko totebi na we abara bantu bechibesa
Eye Ensoko TV Oboroso Bumugusi Obugima n'urugendo rubwa tamange amaya namabe Omusakito Linet Nyambane niga ngaririe imena isiko ya gusi na gusanga naba yaeteire naba kuyaetera
nchekera na ibole twe unango tebiwa na ibole tukinde buya ngakina kinde buya ekera na chiwe ke miaka sta ngachaka ngodifer po ngoira samago wani kamenya gutokanga na twali roba wana wacha gitego
aya nime yo muroberyo bumwenori kirali tukule Jumatano chinsaibe chabutuko imeya Ensoko TV oboroso bumugusi Mrena nabali bechinguru erikwe manyabo na wata kuruchitana nyechiense Frida Kerubo Innocent Onyango Clinton Ondigi Diana Ndemo Ishmael Mogere Linet Nyambane Daniel Omwaga eke nakige kos kiamesa yamangana maya chinchira chito chige koronigo chira soko goseluboko nene gosiriwa ne chinchira chekerero ekira kichagire Ensoko TV twachire gutoligesa ko kyomugusi kurwa soko limera asendiba yabanyandwalero
oboroso bomugusi boigekerwe omugusi bono ne chinjira chiago goikaransanse na kobeke TV yao kwene kingangwe somi oregekoro kyomugusi
wetero murobiryo bwigekoro gyeito hasi tokomera nabaga kaba samwerere na bwigabange nabanyika eriko kwanero kwebogia chindagira amasikani chinyangi nemejega ao yomugusi
kera litsuko ria ramisi chinsayibere igoro imeye TV yao na mbe Ensoko TV
na Stephen Nyarike Mbunde tolende ekimira
eye Ensoko TV oboroso bomugusi
yegoro yeito imeye Ensoko Ensoko yegoro yeito imeye Ensoko Ensoko kibengia ya jire ngumanga bunalero Ensoko
Eye ni Ensoko TV, oboroso bw'omugusi.
Karibu nendo mwanchomo rigere lyemeronge 3 gore chinsa isano chia bono mambia Ensoko TV oboroso bwo mugusia so murobiri Etorobini okale tugocha sore ne university yatangaza enga kiba kumanyina emirobirera aroro ne mengemono eyo oganiri kwenyorera libaga eriyo bwegendereria samasomo na boigo onyore chikosi echo boigo na biranyarikanena no bwate omworokiwa oganeti okusokonya koligeranga yako genda guchia ase chikosi ria chia diploma tubwata mangana ye degree igechonsi no gochinyora ase university yatangaza echire chinyinge mono boigo asurigani kwegendereria amasomo aye asensemo eyo ya doctorate gose masters gochimoino boigo mbabwate mirobiro eyo oraba kresimi wetrase chinambe kirabo ase TV yage mambia yabono gose obalikireri uko na boigo obwatare ase website yabo ya www.tangaza.ac.ke eriwe manye amange bunatokandira tegosanga emambia ya bono iga nigo nanacha sami enga kinko mweda ke mwegebere kurwa mtosoe ase county ya Kisii boigo nigo twatigerana ekero togote abana gusaba sa ekonyora amaigerio county ya Nyamira nigebwata 26 vocational training centers na kubalira number 1 number 2 number 3 amone chinde alafu ntubwata boigo asese mirime mubona bono Sirunga Industrial Park kuruya beta launch so far so good. I don't know ngaimwe ikeire chichumanchi aretu alibira kita byachaka kungora bigo sugumama raba kabisa turachakira ngo igabwo utarachaka kosoana na bakisi tie turachakira bwogoka yeba
cyane rurwarete mono
je ndwarete mono
ro migire
mwana mindo account yetu ne bwato bole wobonane nande ebwato bole tori ububura ibuoka otubwate abantu bakuwa bwakorengereri unu muchando ndo tubwate ekara abantu okonyora batari kuwa bwakorengereria nkonyora bari intentional aso gukora ibintu gite bibere bitatu iyango tabinge gabana ito igaru mwo baso korengereri nande abantu abegetense yaye bakomorengereri gusiba muburire tyo bongo mbari konyara they are not up to the task gose umujando nori ngaki igare one show man ori umanyete ngaki egenda ukwana gyakora nyakora abande bali kuaya gose ko ngwanda bigoro yeti TV 26 abachikobo banga nimbwate ya ne range na seite kurukumungu ne ortari ngate
yagachire kaira
igachire kaira nande I think there is a time when the current Solicitor General, I think it was an MP then.
Exactly.
Nero jete he came with the fundity then equipments tigaja. Mungoniara can say ejinde tindara ne what some equipments chiri jibwene tokotoka in a TVET vocational center. So omochando na no linga TVET yechinga kijiko ba managed. Under libuli lie county na boko nyoranga ni nabeyaga chira sengenjo ya magacho lakini ebintu biri equipment echinchiro ro chigwi kwipu abana abayiga gosibatu arubo manyo babwana to gutwara that is the question to where true ayeno inuna basaki ba mangana na moko yenda morigereria muunengi na morolenga ki ebinte biga to gukwana equipment yejiga inchiro ro in our TVETs they are not there otherwise otangonto isaransitika ga to kwana the county government ya Nyamira led by almost Kenya Libo omochando monene babwata is priorities inki babona tokora when where and how ino rumo chando bwe to bwate ni Nyamira county tari ngantu no ni ntuntu amende tu tari Kisii county yo kaya mente the question ne linga ki o comment ko gwechi besa go cha se county yeito ne chinda toigora chia bali ba isaransi that is the question which most probably is the case.
You are right.
Inga egento twakora to comment chibesa ne chinda toigorete chichimiza just the other day kwaro chiki Nairobi county ga minister about 65 million enyomba mwaye so nte to kubolinga ki irenga chibisire nyamiro tamanyiti ikyara gastera akoro irengo chibisire nyamiro tamanyiti. This is a replica usegende gyakola Nairobi County obotukino kuboinengi kubokorwe na botokonyora the same money chibisire goso mondali merete buwaye agachite because ta konyara guchi account yakona guchiri ngora mune nchuku ese ngoro bwanzu bwenchuku no kolia MM ta konyara guchi
na bekonyarikana chi briefcase echiga chi chibage chiko musa chiango konyorana omuntu ni gakonya kungusayige para kogenda kumbo obisi nera arule ayo keretera ne chianga kungusa gochiabu na sabari akare kogenda
lakini chibesa abo. That is it.
That's what is happening in our country.
That's what is happening. Omwako isukuri chibesa to kubekero leave alone the bending bills talking about the bending bills kera litu and expenditures talking about kera litu into kwa negoro yebitacho na ngore na tororo say no. There is a time na etete say nali say no boro ketacho kina Ishmael tari numwe kamwa rosete there is someone on that say no abantu bakaleta magena bana kenyoro bakamukarosi betacho ne amusie abarosete
abanyakenyoro barosi
abakenyoro baracho
atiboniga okonyora nkebekirwe se budget
ngibekira se budget nande kimwe service every financial year
exactly
iko service uza egetacho mwagachi temunini. That is why now what having aki omochando na intubuna abagusi we are not ntori ku account yabaito ase bintu biri bitokore kitubwene ku account kuze ntubwate bo manyinga egentekeiga na ntubwene tokogekorero omochando yuno tubwate kisi account. That is why na toboki kunande mambi. Let me tell you nande you will be surprised. Omwana minta was looking at manifestos yabantu bakonda kuboli obo governor in Nyamira County. Trust you me na banko taikiro munde manifesto yae Nyalibo the manifesto looks like him. Looks like the way yako kole bintu bona. I don't want to talk about it. Ige bikola kana muna nyalibale n'abantu baye. We came to enini ya Chanwa igale populist. But when you come to the documents that is completely is not here nor there. Tabuwa tanchepo gento kendo yons ala tayaba abandonga ki intakete ko koraiga ndeto ko siriyo bokurumi asenye ncho akwa no bokurumi erebwe ko manyana gabwa the cases in Naroko County chobo kurumi cannot talk about it. So oiso kolile lyo muntu onde appealing manifestos Ben Momanyi igabwa the manifesto but ekero kolile manifesto no muntu yebwate manifesto you see a big difference. Abantu mbali babere babwate appealing manifestos omuntu okorokunga nyambati tari ngasenga jakoro constituency yane no muntu ndokorokunga ki James Kemon as a brilliant manifesto asamangana for example the new technology for example asamangana agriculture you look at it amangana education the new technology bono muna asamangana agriculture new technology aseme gonde yeto kwate bisini enchera kwanda go equip umuntu onyora mazao gete kuruase asaka gondo kaliko ayo bwato wake is someone who has thought outside the box. As amangana education TVET is so one the way akwenda handle this the education part goes asaba saibaitu bakwenda kusoma is something which is so appealing the same na Nyambati. So these are the two people I'm telling you the two people their manifestos if they can apply chikole chigenda goseba egobora inande chikole babwatite manifesto yabo Nyamira County will never be the same again. Omochando no linga key do we have the right leaders usaba antumbo iko getobongo to make sure that we have the right leaders in place as chinga kichibweneleta. That is the mistake we do every other single day.
Ase county ya Kisii erokwanere abaye korwa Kemoni Ochire Nyambati Ochire umugavana obono kugendera kwanere baka mumanyi ayino bwatarati no bwateno kundali no bwate onyuka nere nkonya gokwanale mugaka machoko ntobwate Gideon Omingo Magara Gideon nere no ale mabu bas na eno bwata bago toka ndo kwanira abago
yanayo bamanyete
de kwandri kurwa satiri yeba egen donkero boniga nte to briefly samangane manifesto gocha mbwata ni gocha Kisii boniga muraita yo bwata manifesto
Kisii County
nchebunana tebe Kisii County
nanyikero kyo braibense
Kisii County.
Okay, Kisii County, yevan.
Ose korigereri, wone gange kero omonto oyo gotenena. It's either kwandre one term, ose two term.
Ose one term ne agenda nero ne manifesto.
One term ne agenda. But ingo chokora tore
Ekiri kikerengeke nena
the same rigoso.
Rata ekiri kikerengeke nena.
Lakini ingo chokora tore the same rigoso. No ni matiangi ngeta sa go chiorara chinsa chinde. Ago chiori grade sane kiara. Rigoso ri nari akorete 2022. Ose korige the same people matiangi akonyete. Na buboniga no ni bamunso krete ba kumurama na andi ba konya kumuri kuri koni omogongo na kumu sangi. Take an example buna Simbarat. Riende ngo tebrenge ngabaga kabambwateranire. But everybody knows in Kisii County nga Matiang'i is hand nero ya gerete. Akaye no ni ticket ri ODM na ande no ni kiro kiri acho Kenya. Nyamira na bonko ira no ni example buni anyanto.
Anyaribo.
Abongo no ni nyaribo. These are the same people. Matiang'i abwate toko boko na ande bakaira but bono bakumuri. But usikorigere yanga barayibo sibago tenna. Tigana beka Simba kando. Simba korukare has no manifesto. Koruno 2022 agateneni rote banga. Singeni na chari dagoreti esugumana koniri nje no mwana b'umuntu mutaka igoni meto botaka abagaka baba ngonkora bare kimuranje nkonye. Iga abantu buna bare nande buna botaka bore gusine nchara nebe saga serera abantu nabaire tekerugo paka rero igabona abantu bakisi ncheno ningo chinara abanyona batebinga ni numwa tengete mogatebanga
nereta
ngene tae by that there is no
single day but nyali bali yo reto pasana anyepe mono
there is no single day Simba tenene to somo kutano 2022 agatebanga yinkoira ninkoreke neke iga agatenenga jaga kina kine robotaka na anachire suguma harida goreti igoni meto botaka nga kago so number 2 manifesto yae abagaka babambwateranire oinongeri o mugaka ngwae o mugaka yokorbo basinga kyakoro ku ngeri tari gotira abagaka babambwateranire kago kora kago so manifesto agenda yae number 3 ko unga kero monto ikarasa bangina moina basacha moina okoriro chi
ngone nemugani iri kumubori kende gyansi because yatabete manifesto gakisami muntu atara akarere
manifesto ya besa ya
same case boniga nonchi aspirant chance pichite nene
yebona
tigamba jumulishe bonspi I'm not yet I'm not yet ready to see anybody about the manifesto ababons pigu to nemiri na mondari na machogo onyonka Omingo Magara Gideon commissioner naro Patrick Lumumba irano bo mpiati getebwa kitutu chache south na ndendoche atigete gote na UD ominyo kirogocho
Gideon
Oyagi exactly all these people bago cha guseno mukutane ndo bago tera matia ingese on speak oruboruya wagikoyo Mukamba no distant paka bogera kero monda ta baningo igo to ate biru mrai wensa ningo Fredo kianga Matiang'i igo yo tari na into and home omonto ikaras there is no manifesto at every abantonga inche personal bu nombaki musako ngege nteke ninkore 1 2 3 4 and that's why I want to caution our people nande Ishmael na Sam enchara negente kebe no botaka negente kebe ningange to botaka nande nintwara no ni enchara tindi botaka na oroki muntu nimbwate enchara abantu baito iruka bangina mono abangina aba mama baito time tinga kikatura abakonya
civic education yakoregan
but is a lot of illiteracy receiving yorobet obo manyo bwa information bantu mbabwati take an example bune constituency yani nyaribari omongna ko gokote no egweri oniga jando tiriri egezi ngwete sana kare kwena but muntu tametinga chiribwe chisano twe etora abantu chiribwe ibera chibe yaseji chonspi twanko bekerwe para noni elami 3 kilometers korumga etosoki center gorari
ose estima
ose noni estima usenoni ekirasrum kebeko eskuru kwa gachite Ishmael negento ke komenya structure kunye bigete negento ke komenya for 20 years obeke noni birasi bibere byoka noni BICD bibere byoka abana batike kumigana banyoreri bagana kyangu usenoni elami 3 kilometers yoka tiantu mire lami nero yacho motu ne ritangani elami yeso kubekwa na be ukore miaka 15 to 20 na ndebe ku in a good condition na bongo soka na matoka yane ngike center ruguru ngoneri abantu bagutira go Nairobi abaturumba ko chibogera
abo bagutira tenen kusana bwa matoke nemisi
usemesi yane usina bongo soka na mabera ya ngoni akini bona singintu yenchara aranda abantu banchire na andu uchumi yabeirembe tindiko blame bantu uchumi yasarikire ruto saririense lakini bono Timoteo yora akonyiro kabanyari bari chache korende abasacha basokire babo birundu mbarari babo kengo nyambane but non barabu manifesto yabo matyangi nande nairi wasorinde tojo para bana bagusi ocho kochora tora abantu ni meritinga matyangi of course matyangi no mwana nande ntomotegete igora lakini bono nse aya abantu mbaronsa babo chikuhangi segoti yae tochora abantu ababe kate siyogo toteru mwana itomatia
okay
yeba
taraso komoraya maralie ende kama mentraga ndato kubwata se ende kimatianga mundu bwatete nyore yeso ala enini musbati uliga bwatete kubaya yega
akagwena
ngungo tebi na bona iga
na bara ukibara bwaterere bagwena soko choro
bono ende kibale te ko wa apply nga jitikambwa terere gotia matiangi mnango bwa terere gotia matiangi ngoraniki ngoikanda bose lakini nkitwanyora at the end of the day twanyo rubura yubo be asingi ya association ya matiangi nera asaisa aba kusinte to ko bade matiangi tari ko boli bo MCA matiangi tari ko boli bo MP tari ko boli bo women rep matiangi tari ko boli bo governor matiangi is fighting over president ekinto zire tina we are not talking about it lakini asabarayi ababande bago jansa abarayi senator women rep MP no MCA ne governor tikango toisaranse tokoro go bongo bwito tonyora abarayi abaya and on top of that ndongere ntwakwana ndeteko ko etofauti yichi senator ibere cha Kisii County na Nyamira County. The Kisii County is a fighter and is someone who has put obekire Simbarat accountable account everything liakora into Nyamira County otobwate a senator orobore obomo ne governor asobwanjani bwa kisiasa. In short, there is no time okongo mugeni akoimoka yani alemenya nyalibonga ki this is ejinechi stwale tata ekeneki wakorire ingi eketali okorekana nona enkwana kurugente is only came to Senate once and dealing impeachment na ile kala ko question bu ngakinyali bairane ya tata ko senki ebire bitima ite ko sena ni biro lebe te ko senkenda omo chando ndete ko tabire ringa ki asenye jutu achore tabara ya batabagu patali ko enda kuturwanire seki none chibese chito chiko chabone sena tamanyenga ebese ito yagenda TV ebese ito yagenda sekete ni assess devolved functions inkendo kike bone te kutoka saba Nyamira is not fighting for us onyonga the difference ne ringa onyonga is fighting for abantu ba Kisii County because nama etenga ki chibese chi achiro na ninki bone toka that's the difference.
Okay. Yeah. Aso ukolere mambia bono ngukwairania asili boli lya bwango kero yo manyari nyone dakika ya moiga nenusu elio tochigo kolere mambia ya bono liboli leto linene asomunu libwega songo ligo lyalenge na in whose hands and we save igo bono nigo kolira ne ligo chakera olio gachora to mu MCA pako koregoro igemeretina wikoli kia composition yeyo nsiye dakika ya mone nusu asubwango mono togo chaka na Brian ngakitoko kora in whose hands are we safe oyo mona aboletigo nde togo chakera koira neri swari eri nchirerega abarigere baminto omuntu biye katore asama okaye tore safe nyasaye biye otherwise when you urato konya na ando urato body na ando urato tori utatiganya sai boy gonya sai ngo tumekari mwanya abantu buneke beke roso bogambi kugamba baroba kugamba obe na baroba onspi boniga
ande mbaro bakorabia una butogo chiko chora bona njakire Kisii Central Ward yane omugaka monyenye 35 years kurubo kansura gocha is enough. Yani renoni is not a topic of discussion. Na arore umuntu ndokoro kumrefu na yarote neniri. Na nyo to kwenda bwayo bukaza na andaka nyo no bobo MCA tamwe. Momo isaine. What we need Boniga una Kisii Central. We need new energy. We need a youthful leadership. But na anda basaya ababono ntonya ko ranga youthful. Abasaya bana butu approve iriko bachinkondi. Si nene. Wakora una simbarati. Tocho bwempi. Zaire gender is not a topic of discussion. Ontoritara akora kiende. Otare nyaribari estongi atigerete. No nyaribari yere paka Boniga. Montoritara na even a single bus korwa swetobis. Ebirasi agachiro sembibere na bibia beire bloggers ba utumia gesa. Bono mwako gatano to chikoswa kenen keyo. Chipare go tsarigete. Stima teyo. Itore constituency range na town. Eta kiru once waikire kwa waso ire birongo. Nyari ba chache ebwate birongo ibe no ward Kiumbu, Kiogoro, bobaracho na Kisii Central. Kikwa ikire birongo.
Chakoro le change.
Ochake ko re change. Omanyenga ni kama tunaelekea capital. Tunaelekea kwa city. Ese yo mwando kuna tukonyoroka. Ko turumbo kabirongo swe Kiumbu ari. Yani yoko ranga borike environment ya change. Ko turumbo ko swe baracho yete ward ko re Kisii Central. But chakera birongo gocha e para yoke sarigeta. And it's a major road of Kisii Nairobi highway. Noni MP janda bweka nguru an repare yoka. Koru Kisii town ye expanded yoka. Ebe noni one way ebwate two lanes. Neikakeroka ka ati osena tigera noni ariye wodi ya SRT ngaki company echaire bosi ari utareka keroka. Nyanko bari. Anye tigero noyo kwenda nyari bana saba manduku nerabu ate gochirukura. Yoka na teba ngami yake etano mwanga na rosiri pare itama toka itar Kiumbua ni mesie soke gande nairo asoko kienen keyo nzuko bo women rep time tiezi nani achete na tigete kago tenga sibabo soro donya toto
uchira bonchari
oni yangwete no bwempya tigete bonchari akya abantu baitu babonchari
chisekune 200 choka
tocho bogavana borobu tindu okwana gesa manyinga tanya gwiteka Kisii County bunaitekira for the past 4 years. It's all about gunism na ndiko kwa noni governor bobe ngwa kwa ne simba bobe wacheru mwago botukona abaisi wacha ukorwani.
Okay.
Igoro ntoriko kwana. Nyasaye bieka tokonya na ande togo saba the United Alternative Government amona linda mwananchi kimorache. Tafadhali the alternative United Government and the Linda Mwananchi. We are pleading with you as a community. Tafadhali, give our son Fred Matiang'i Ufragbera. Tutachukua Ruto mapema nyumbani.
Sami. Uyolile mbake yago bona ayo kabwate ya mondochi.
Diame nape.
Ndirane nke goikato. Kisii wono.
Sami asobwango.
Nje ndata kwa asobwango. Asama ko kango tole buya.
Bwana.
Authorities safe as a president here now than William Ruto. Abu we are safe. Togocha asobo governor ingicheko county yana. I'm telling you, authorities safe asomorai obegete enta kwanda kokolera abantu baye amali konse. Amanyetenga omochanda obeire noyoiga na ase tutegete niga ko ende chara ne tutegete kogenda ni tutete kokora nikiga lakini ko totebi nga yenga gwakorire gento kete kusino bwa accountant nga nayo gocha kotokonya. That is not the case. Igonkinde te goteba nga obora yubuya nje ko bwana igombroche ase kemoni na nyambati because each manifesto au bande bagocha we still will talk about it. Togocha so senator Tigabo muntu munga weta nyo yondo tane oturwanira kwa Mogere. we are done. Obo women
What the remote
on togora ta ngena maisa bwa ta kwenda kotogone re manifesto ya ere nta kwana ere ngate te kwenda atogori ke binto biche
Taribo governor nanda
ero governor ta kete na kwenda kotogori ke binto biche county, which is not the case. A county government ne what the structures na nengo kutole funds ngo kutole chibese chiko chokole gas go tamaiti what he wants tamaiti.
Okay.
Omo MP njeni bwa ta ngoko, and I'm not complaining. Omo mzie one akoro ku gisesa ere ga bwene to kurworo ma bibotarakia lituko liri kwanza bwe chikoro chiko chikwako abwene ko so za 12 cha marwa.
Okay.
Oerire
mbia mwana mwancho muri ali asoko bwatie nkwane iga ono muchakaro rende ne chisa chia tonyora lakini weekend na ntejo ali bageri twendere kwanira ayanda mange dimetirinda mwananchi bakale Friday igotiga tukanya ritwere Jumatole na kimero bere guchakoba kurabuto 18 weekend togendere rikorwa abo asitwa tigera aseri yale gendere kubatimiro bere atigera aseri tukorigima goika na inde eliankyo kolende turomerane ense ya mwananchi sisa to cha botuko ase amajya ya Ensoko TV Eliane Ishmael Mogere twara ritkori.
Eye Ensoko TV.